I wanted to just address some concerns regarding the ongoing certification process in advance of Coach Odom's visiting with you this afternoon to talk about both this past Saturday's game as well as the upcoming contest against Prairie View. As was distributed to the members of the media and on our official statement, again, our ongoing certification process that we have here at Southern University is predicated on one thing principally, and that's ensuring that we have a process that produces eligible players. So we want to continue to reiterate that. We're committed to not allowing ineligible student athletes to compete. What this means is that the university over the past approximately 10 months has undergone a process where we have worked very closely with the NCAA to identify best practices on our campus to bring the individuals to bear that allow us to certify student athlete eligibility as accurately as possible. This means we are now working across the campus with members of our faculty, with certifying officers from each department where our student athletes are working towards their degrees. So we're working with faculty, working with staff on campus in the registrar's office, in our CTLE office where our external certification officer resides full-time. We're working with individuals from, I mentioned the registrar, financial aid, all the areas on campus to make sure that we have the most accurate data possible that can be used for our academic progress rate reporting, APR, as well as student athlete eligibility. We're also working with the academics staff in our athletic department to help the faculty members who provide the data to us to make sure that the data they provide to us in terms of progress towards degree is accurate. And then that information is then provided to an external certification officer who does not work in the athletic program. This individual works at the pleasure of the chancellor, works on the university campus. So we have an external certification process where once all of that data is submitted, it's reviewed externally, and so the athletic department is not unilaterally certifying student athletes. The ongoing process, it's brand new, it was installed this year. The policies and procedures that we have approved were approved by the NCAA. That does continue to be a somewhat living and breathing document because we do have to make changes and revisions to it over time to make sure that we're working as efficiently as possible. But what we have ourselves, where we found ourselves is that the process is taking more time than we originally had anticipated. We're having to do a lot of education with the faculty members that we're working with and a lot of follow-up with them to ensure that the information is accurate. So we took what we learned from the first week of the year, the ULL contest, and going into this past week, we were able to provide some information to Coach Odom's approximately 48 hours before the contest on student athletes where we had some flags and we had some additional research and data to compile. We then worked over that next 48 hours as aggressively as possible with a mind towards accuracy to ensure that we had as much data in place to certify the eligibility of as many players as we could possibly certify going into the game. The 3 players, as I mentioned here, who were withheld from the game, we will work to continue making determinations on them, seek reinstatement if we need to seek reinstatement, which is currently where I believe the decision lies. And ultimately we'll get a decision on those 3 players as soon as possible. And if we are granted the opportunity, we'll return them to play. Not certain when we will get that decision. Reinstatement process is once we submit that paperwork to the NCAA, we request expedited responses when we have pending competitions, and they generally get us a response as soon as they possibly can.